And so basically, after a while, after a few months, I applied to be a community impact coach. I filled out an application and answered different questions. After that, we did an interview together. I think it was with Nora. And then she told me that we might have an opportunity for you. And so, yeah, that's how it happened, basically. I filled out the application, then did the interview, and we got things moving.
Hello, and a warm welcome to Coaches Across Continents and the next podcast in our series of virtual learning podcasts. Today we will be talking about our Community Impact Coach initiative with our guest, Rose Abu Elias from Lebanon, and your host, Markus Bench. Welcome, Rose, to our virtual podcast table this afternoon.
Thank you, Marcus. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm very delighted to be speaking with you today, Rose, after we have been together on field last year. We will talk more about that during this podcast. I know you're currently in your home country in Lebanon, but very soon you will go on another trip with Coaches Across Continents to Qatar. We will also talk about your upcoming journey today and your past involvement as a community impact coach. So the 20 minutes that we will have together will be filled with a lot of information, a lot of storytelling, with a lot of great experiences and challenges you have faced with us. And if you as a listener would like to know how to apply to become a community impact coach yourself, or if you want to know more about the initiative, please stay with us and please continue listening to our conversation. So we will get started straight away and get into our questions. Rose, I hope you're ready. Here's my first question for you that I would like to ask you. I think for people would be interesting to know from you how you got involved with Coaches Across Continents. Like, how did you hear about us? How did you know that we exist?
Okay, so I started youth work as a youth mentor back in 2016. We started implementing a street football project in Lebanon, and it was in collaboration with an NGO called ANERA, American Near East Refugee Aid. And then after a while, ANERA got contacted, like ANERA and CICU had a training in Lebanon, and so that's how I heard of them, and I attended the session with Coaches Across Continents, and it was in November 2017.
Nice. So you were already involved with using sport as a tool for education. Was that already part of your work, or was that something that you got introduced through this program that ANERA hosted?
I was already involved in sports for social impact, implementing projects. But with the training with Coaches Across Continents, I can say that it gave me a much wider perspective and a much more practical idea and different games and different concepts and aspects of sports for social impact. Because I was still a beginner before I did not have much experience before the field with the CAC.
Okay. So so basically that program with Coaches Across Continents gave you then a better understanding and a deeper understanding of sport for social impact, of education outside the classroom. And what happened then after the program? Like, how did you apply to become a CIC, or how did this process work?
Okay, so basically during the program, I still remember our trainers. There was Nora, Jordan, and Ian. And during the program, we basically, in all of this CAC on-field programs, you get to talk a lot with the trainers, with how they see the world. Like we talked about different issues in my community everywhere, and so we really had a really good bond. We shared a lot of common points of view as well, and so that's where I heard about the community impact coach initiative that coaches across continents are doing. And so basically, after a while, after a few months, I applied to be a community impact coach. I filled out an application and answered different questions. After that, we did an interview together. I think it was with Nora. And then she told me that we might have an opportunity for you. And so, yeah, that's how it happened, basically. I filled out the application, then did the interview, and we got things moving.
Nice. And then your first trip with CAC as a community impact coach came up. So
Yes.
where did you go and how long were you on field with us?
Okay, so I was with coaches across continents for 1 month on field. It was last September, in September 2018. I traveled to Jordan and Georgia. In Jordan, we stayed for 1 week, and in Georgia, we stayed for 3 weeks. And honestly, it was amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, I already mentioned it briefly in my introduction that yeah, we were on field together last year, and yeah, it was this coincidence that it was your first trip with CAC as a community impact coach, and I was assigned as the leader of the team for the programs in Jordan and in Georgia. So yeah, I still very well remember this trip we did in August and September last year. We had some amazing time during these 4 weeks that we spent together. So yeah, let's get chatting a little bit more about that and what we experienced, and especially what you experienced. So what did your role look like during your time as a community impact coach? So what did you do? How did it evolve? What were your tasks? And how did Coaches Across Continents support you during that time?
Okay, so there's a lot to say. I'll try to be as brief as possible. Just to give a small context, during the trip, we were a team of three. It was yourself, Marcus, you were leading the trainings and the on-field programs, and we also had Jesse with us. He was the global citizen, and I was the community impact coach. So basically, my role, my role in Jordan was a bit different than my role in Georgia. In Jordan, because I already spoke Arabic and I already know the culture, given that I'm from Lebanon. So I had the roles were very similar, but basically we prepared for the sessions together. I coached some games myself. We did the evaluations. We were preparing for everything. It was a nice experience because I had the chance to engage my thoughts in a different context outside of my comfort zone. So that was very nice for me. If I go back to that question, how did coaches across continents support me? I think it was one of the biggest supports is giving me that chance or the opportunity to be able to explore other cultures, other communities, other problems. And I think something else that CIC really supported me with was that it really helped me enhance and get my coaching experience much better in a very practical way. And also, I've met really amazing individuals around Jordan and Georgia that work in sports and try to create a social change through sports. And that for me was a very big motivation. It was a very big plus.
Yeah, Thank you for this introduction and brief overview of the different roles you had. And I think in the next couple of questions and minutes, we'll go a little bit deeper into these different aspects that you just mentioned: the cultural experiences, the coaching experience, and also the connection you could make with individuals along the way through the programs, or just with people probably on the streets or in the countries that we went to in Jordan and in Georgia. I think also when I think back of our time in these two countries, I also very strongly remember you as an incredible team player. I think when I spoke with my colleagues and anyone about my experience with you, I think that was something that really stood out for me, that you had the needs and the needs of the group were always at the forefront of your mind, and you were considering what they need, and you were always thinking about how to best serve them and support them, and also how to support the group process that the participants were in throughout the week. That's really an amazing experience that I can share, that I've had with you while we were on field. I would like to know from you, what were a favorite story or experience that you had during your time as a community impact coach?
Oh, I had so many good experiences or moments or days even in that 1 month. But seriously, one story really touched my heart. So we were in Gori in Georgia. It was our first program in Georgia. We were running a program, and we had really a big number of coaches with us on field. We were very excited, and there was always kids running around. And there's this one girl. Her name is Luda, and I think she's around 13 years old. Luda always watched us for, I think, the first 2 or 3 days. And then on the third day, she just grabbed the bib and started playing with us without asking anyone, without taking any permission. She just put the bib on and just was part of the games. And she was really excited, and she was like a butterfly running around. And so for me, this experience mattered. Why? Because as a CIC team, when we were preparing the sessions, we really have in mind how to include everyone, how to make the best time, how to make it fun, how to try to send a message through a very subtle and easy way for the best of for anyone. And that was felt by everyone, even by this little girl that was just standing outside. She felt that. And so this experience reassured me that with the energy you send through your work, that will be received and appreciated by people. And I was really happy to be able to draw a smile on her face or on other people's faces as well, even if it was brief for a couple of hours, but that really mattered to me. And so I think that would be my most touching experience, or the experience I remember most from this trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Rose. I think I'm grateful that you shared this experience with our listeners, but also with me, because it brings back the memories for me as well. Like, I'm remembering this young girl, Luda, very vividly now. Once you shared this story, how she was joining the program, and I think it's this conversation I'm having with you right now is also basically a revival of the time we had together in Georgia and in Jordan. So I'm enjoying that very much as well. And what I remember from Luda very much was that she had this open. I remember her eyes were so open, big, and you could just read the eagerness that she had. As she was playing, as she was listening, and she even physically also being smaller than everybody else, like still thinking and even contributing during our conversations that we had in between the games. And that was definitely a wonderful moment for me as well during that time.
I
Um,
remember just one story I'd like to share. We
uh-huh.
were having a child rights discussion, I think, and she was really pitching in ideas with everyone. And I remember Toko was translating, and it just really made me happy that she was taking part of this discussion because I mean it's her story to tell. She is the child we are talking about, and so yeah, that
Yeah.
was really nice. That was really
Very
nice.
much, yeah, very much so. Yeah, yeah. Again, as you telling that, yeah, I remember that as well. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so we have been now on the spectrum of the positive experience. Let's just move now on to the other side. And so I would like to ask, what was the most difficult part of being on field, or what was the most challenging experience you had during your time as a community impact coach?
Okay, that will not be easy to forget, but okay. So we were on our second destination in Georgia. We were in a small village called Ambrolauri. It was really beautiful, very warm. We stayed in a beautiful house with a beautiful family, and so the next day we started our training. I think the village was conservative. It's a small village after all. And so as we started the trainings, I realized that, like, for example, when you and Jesse were giving the trainings, they were interacting much more than when I was giving the trainings, and fewer people were even participating in the games as I was coaching. And for me, that was a very big shock. I don't know, I thought I was doing something wrong. And so basically afterwards, it wasn't really hard to know that they were not listening to me because I was a woman and they're not used to being coached or being told what to do by a woman. And for me, that was one of the biggest challenges I faced during this trip, but not only during this trip. I think in my coaching experience in general. And yeah, it made me think of, okay, so I never felt that on field as I was working, but that's basically what every other woman feels around the world. And let's take it a bit from negative to positive. And so I thought, okay, then maybe we need to keep doing what we're doing because through that we are, changing something, helping other people feel better, do better work. And so
Mhm.
yeah, this challenge made me notice how important our work is to women,
Yeah.
especially to women.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, as you say, like challenging the status quo, challenging the current situation. Yeah, thank you, Rose, for sharing that. Also, this difficult situation, and as mentioned previously, yeah, I also remember this moment very well. But at the same time, I also felt that you handled it very confidently and with great professionalism. Although I could see how difficult it was to be in that situation, to be basically ignored, at least by some of the participants. And I can imagine that that was hurtful in your heart, and probably even made you angry. I don't know how you felt, but yeah, I felt that was a great reaction from your side, how you handled that. And I also remember then afterwards when we spoke about the situation in the evening that, yeah, I think your approach was very proactive or positive in the sense that you said, yeah, I want to support the participants and the program in whichever way I can, even if I can't coach, if that's not possible with this group. And I think that refers back to what I said previously about you that, yeah, like you always had the needs of the group at the forefront of your mind. So I think that's a great skill that I was able to experience with you. Yeah, you mentioned in your answer that the situation in Lebanon is different than what you experienced in Georgia. So could you describe how the situation is for women, but also for you particularly in your home country?
Mhm. So basically, I've been in Lebanon. I've been coaching sports for social impact for the past 3 years, and I did not have a problem because I was a woman. And in general, in Lebanon, Women have are more comfortable in working and expressing themselves, at least better than other Arab countries or neighboring countries. So yeah, I never had a problem, coaching because I was a woman. So the participants always, listened to me, and it was always impactful and positive. But I'd like to also mention something that, yeah, maybe women are more comfortable in Lebanon, but specifically in sports, women are not really recognized or supported as much as we'd love them to be. For example, they don't get as much support or media attention as men do, or um, men teams do in different sports, especially basketball and football, because these are our most famous games. And so, yeah, for example, also something that about me being a woman that coaching sports, that was an interesting aspect in CAC, especially in Jordan. So basically, we worked a lot with female coaches in Jordan, and as we were doing our on-field education outside the classroom. And so there I met so many amazing female coaches that were working on field every day. And, as I was with the CAC telling them, yeah, I'm traveling, I'm doing this and that, spreading sports for social impact, spreading the love, trying to do this kind of work. They were really, really impressed. And I could see from their eyes and their comments that my role with CIC, my existence with CIC in Jordan, gave them a very big motivation to, become who they want to become and to challenge whatever barriers they have so that they can achieve whatever they dream of. And so that's also something very positive about, women challenges in the Arab world, especially in sports. So it's like a community where you can just inspire each other, even through distances, through talking to each other or just being.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that was nice. That was really nice.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Rose, for sharing this powerful and empowering story. And at this point, yeah, I also would like to share a fact in relation to female participation. We are currently having within Coaches Across Continents, 50% of our community impact coaches are female coaches, which I think we are very proud of, and which, yeah, I think whoever follows the work of Coaches Across Continents knows that, yeah, giving opportunity to women and giving equal opportunity to women is what at the forefront of our work. And after we spoke now about your positive and also your more negative or challenging experience, I would like to know, were there any experiences during your time with Coaches Across Continents that were completely unexpected, where you said like, oh wow, this was like a complete surprise?
There was actually the whole experience as a whole was unexpected. After I came back home, I was just really, my mind was racing. I saw so many things in 1 month. I moved from one place to the other. I lived with different people, different food, different, I don't know, bed. Everything was different, and so for me that was really unexpectedly amazing, and met so many amazing people. And like I saw this generosity and humbleness in people that was amazing. And I did not expect to learn this many coaching skills on field, and I did. And but something really unexpected was, because in Georgia especially, we were on field with different coaches, and they were coming from different disciplines like rugby, judo, basketball, different disciplines of sport, even gymnastics. And so, with the interaction we had during our workshops on the last day, the coach backs, they were able to implement and adapt the CAC curriculum to their disciplines. And for me that was really exciting. It really opened up so many horizons. And so yeah, that was kind of unexpected.
Yeah, I mentioned at the beginning of our talk that you will soon be going to Qatar for another trip with coaches across continents. Could you tell our listeners a little bit more what this is about and what you will be doing there and why are you going there? Please share a little bit about that
All
upcoming
right.
trip.
So I was contacted by coaches across continents to see if I could be available for attending a conference called Empower 2019 in Doha, Qatar. And basically, I did an application, and after a while, they told me that I was in and that I will be contributing with the team. We will be training young people. So basically, this conference will get together young people from all over the world, especially the MENA region and Asia. And it's a platform where people can share their experiences. They can learn about different things, about different humanitarian work, about different community works. And the theme of this conference this year will be about peace building and development and sustainable development in countries. And so, together with coaches across continents, we will be able to share our experience and how coaches across continents helped me on a personal level, what kind of opportunities it gave me, and how I was able to use the information or this experience that CAC gave me in contributing in peace building and sustainable development in my own community. And to be very honest, this is one experience I always dreamt of, and now it's happening thanks to coaches across continents. And this is a very big opportunity for me, and I'm honestly very grateful.
Nice. I'm excited and I'm happy for you that you are able to go. And I'm sure Brian, my colleague, will be happy to have you on the team. And you will be joined by another participant from our partner Reclaim Childhood in Jordan. I wish you an amazing time. And I think, it's a great opportunity for you to share your knowledge with other people around the world. Our interview, Rose, is coming slowly to an end, and I would like to ask my final question for today. And would like to know if you have a suggestion or advice for somebody who listens to this podcast and maybe thinking by him or herself, oh, I would like to become a community impact coach. What should this person consider or prepare for?
To be a community impact coach, I think first, of course, they'd have to be somehow involved in sports for social impact. But most importantly, I think that like something important in CAC is always keeping an open mind for learning new things and learning different aspects of yourself, seeing how you can personally grow together with I don't know, whatever is happening around you, how we can learn from that. Like the notion of self-directed learning is really important. And for me, a community impact coach should be able to do that for themselves so that they can reflect that to other people. And it should be also, I don't know, one advice is to keep the motivation and the passion for sports and spreading love and social change through that, through sports. That's very important as well. Um, what else can I advise? I'd advise whoever's going to Georgia next to watch out because the food is really tasty and pretty starchy and they might gain a little weight. So yeah, I'd say watch out. But other than that, just be who you are if you want to be a community impact coach and be the best version of yourself. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Rose. I can just say I have been able to experience that with you while being in Jordan and Georgia. That you were very authentic for me and a very authentic person, very open and honest. And that's I think also another part that I really enjoyed about our time together. Unfortunately, our time today is coming to an end. So I would like to say thank you, Rose, for being with us today, sharing your experience as a community impact coach with me, as well as with our audience. Thank you again for being with us.
Thank you so much, Marcus. It's been really a walk through memory lane, and I'm
Mhm.
really happy and honored to be with you on this podcast. And I hope that um, we will reach people into their hearts.
So if you now got inspired and want to become a CIC, a community impact coach yourself, please read through the resource packet that is provided together with this podcast on your workplace partner page. Or if you have found this interview on our YouTube channel, please email cic@coachesacrosscontinents.org for more information. We are looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening to this podcast and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.